A surprising welcome. Captain Alex Turner squinted into the harsh glare of the twin suns, his heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. The alien world before him was unlike anything he had seen, a lush, verdant landscape teeming with vibrant colors and unfamiliar flora. The sleek hull of the starship Endeavour gleamed in the sunlight, perched on a rocky outcrop overlooking a small, primitive village below. The mission had been clear: find new allies in the ongoing conflict against the aggressive Thraxian Empire. But instead of the formidable warriors they had hoped for, they had encountered something completely unexpected. Beside him, Lieutenant Sara Mendez adjusted her communication gear, her eyes scanning the horizon. "Captain, I'm not sure what to make of this," she said, her voice tinged with both curiosity and concern. "It looks like we've landed in a village of only females. They appear to be humanoid, but they're certainly not what we were expecting." Turner nodded, running a hand through his dark hair. "I know, Lieutenant. This wasn't in the briefing. But let's not jump to conclusions. We need to make a good impression." He squared his shoulders, trying to mask his unease. "We're here to establish diplomatic relations, remember?" As the crew disembarked, they were greeted by a group of alien women approaching from the village. They were tall and elegant, with shimmering emerald skin and flowing hair in hues of blue and silver. Their attire consisted of simple, yet striking, woven garments that left little to the imagination. Captain Turner, Lieutenant Mendez, a woman with a regal bearing and an ornate headdress, stepped forward. Her voice, though accented, was clear and resonant. "I am Queen Nari of the Velara tribe. Welcome to our land." Turner took a deep breath and stepped forward, extending his hand in a gesture of peace. "I am Captain Alex Turner of the Starship Endeavour. We come in friendship and seek to learn about your people and culture." Nari's eyes sparkled with amusement. "Ah, friendship. We have a special ritual for welcoming honored guests. Please follow me." With that, Nari led them towards the heart of the village. Turner and his crew exchanged puzzled glances, but followed her lead. As they walked, Turner couldn't help but notice the vibrant, almost psychedelic architecture of the Velara village. The buildings were organic in design, with walls made of living vines and roofs adorned with colorful flowers. The village square was bustling with activity. Women were tending to gardens overflowing with exotic plants, weaving intricate patterns into tapestries, and performing graceful dances. Turner observed, captivated by the beauty and strangeness of it all. Suddenly, Nari halted and turned to face her guests. "It is time for our traditional greeting," she announced. Before Turner could react, the women around them began lifting their skirts, revealing their bare lower halves. Turner's jaw dropped as he took in the sight. He glanced at Lieutenant Mendez, who was equally stunned. It was an unexpected and bewildering display of hospitality. Nari watched their reactions with a mischievous smile. "This gesture is a sign of our trust and openness. Does it please you, Captain?" Turner quickly regained his composure, though he could feel the heat rising to his cheeks. "It's certainly different from what we're used to, but we appreciate the warm welcome." Nari's laughter was melodious as she signaled her companions to lower their skirts. "Let us discuss matters further in a more comfortable setting. Come, I will show you our village." As Turner and his crew followed Nari through the village, he tried to focus on the mission at hand. They still needed to find a way to gain the Velara's support against the Thraxian threat. But amidst the ongoing cultural exchange, he couldn't help but wonder how this unusual introduction might impact their negotiations. The path ahead was fraught with challenges, but Turner was determined to navigate this diplomatic maze. As they approached Nari's residence, he steeled himself for what promised to be an intriguing, if not utterly bewildering, experience: the ritual of trust. As they entered Nari's residence, the interior revealed an opulent, yet soothing atmosphere. The walls were adorned with intricate tapestries depicting scenes of Velara history and mythology. Soft, bioluminescent lights bathed the room in a warm glow, adding to the sense of tranquility. Nari gestured for Turner and his crew to take a seat on a series of plush cushions arranged around a low table. The air was filled with the sweet, floral aroma of alien incense, which seemed to enhance the overall sense of relaxation. "Please make yourselves comfortable," Nari said, settling gracefully onto a cushion herself. "We will begin with a ceremonial meal. It is our way of forging connections with new friends." Turner and Mendez exchanged uncertain glances but took their places. A variety of exotic dishes were brought out, including fruits and vegetables that glistened with an otherworldly sheen. As they sampled the unfamiliar flavors, Turner tried to focus on the diplomatic aspects of their visit. Nari observed their reactions with interest. "How do you find our food?" she asked. "It's unique," Turner replied diplomatically, "but it's very flavorful." "I'm glad you think so," Nari said with a smile. "The Velara take great pride in our cuisine. It is part of our way of life." As the meal progressed, Nari began to elaborate on the Velara's culture and traditions. Turner listened intently, making mental notes of the key points. The Velara were a peaceful people, deeply connected to their environment and their customs. Their way of life seemed to revolve around harmony, both with nature and with each other. At one point, Nari's tone shifted to a more serious note. "We have heard of the conflict you face with the Thraxian Empire. It is a grave situation, and we wish to understand how we might assist you." Turner's heart lifted at this news. "We would greatly appreciate any support you can offer. The Thraxians are a formidable enemy, and our resources are stretched thin." Nari nodded thoughtfully. "We will discuss this further with our council. But first, I must ask, what do you think of our ritual of trust?" Turner's face flushed slightly, recalling the earlier display. "It was certainly unexpected, but I understand its significance now." Nari's eyes twinkled with amusement. "The ritual is our way of showing that we have nothing to hide and that we welcome you with open hearts. It is a gesture of our deepest trust." Turner nodded, appreciating the sentiment despite the unconventional presentation. "Thank you for sharing that with us. It helps us to understand your culture better." Nari smiled and rose from her seat. "Let us now take a tour of our sacred sites. There is much more to see and learn." As they left the residence, Turner felt a renewed sense of purpose. The Velara's unique approach to diplomacy was challenging, but it also presented an opportunity to build a meaningful alliance. With each step, he hoped to bridge the gap between their worlds and secure the support they so desperately needed. A tour of wonders. Captain Alex Turner followed Queen Nari through the winding pathways of the Velara village, each turn revealing new wonders. The air was thick with the mingling sense of exotic flora, and the soft hum of alien music seemed to accompany their every step. The village was alive with activity, and the vibrant energy of the Velara people was palpable. Nari led them to a grand structure at the heart of the village, a massive dome made entirely of living vines and luminescent flowers. The building seemed to glow with an ethereal light, casting a mesmerizing reflection on the surrounding foliage. "This is our Temple of Harmony," Nari announced with pride. "It is where we come to celebrate the unity between our people and the natural world." As they entered the temple, Turner was struck by its breathtaking beauty. The interior was adorned with intricate murals depicting scenes of Velara history, from the creation of their world to their current way of life. Soft, bioluminescent lights illuminated the space, creating an atmosphere of serene contemplation. Nari guided them to the central chamber, where a large crystalline pool glimmered with a mesmerizing blue light. "This pool is sacred to us," she explained. "It represents the flow of life and the interconnectedness of all things." Turner and his crew marveled at the pool, its surface shimmering with an almost magical quality. Nari then led them to a series of smaller rooms, each dedicated to different aspects of Velara culture. One room was filled with intricate tapestries and woven garments, showcasing the Velara's artistry and craftsmanship. Another contained various artifacts and relics, each telling a story of their people's evolution. The tour continued to a lush garden filled with plants and flowers unlike anything Turner had ever seen. The garden was a riot of colors and shapes, with flowers that seemed to change hue with every breeze and plants that emitted a soft, musical hum. "Here is where we cultivate the flora that sustains us," Nari explained. "Our gardens are not only a source of nourishment, but also a place of meditation and reflection." Turner was deeply impressed by the Velara's harmonious relationship with their environment. Everything seemed to be in perfect balance, from their architecture to their gardens. The Velara's way of life was both enchanting and enlightening. As they walked through the garden, Turner couldn't help but think about the impending threat of the Thraxian Empire. The Velara's peaceful existence was a stark contrast to the ongoing conflict in the galaxy. If they could forge an alliance, it would be a significant boon to their cause. Nari seemed to sense his thoughts. "Captain Turner, I understand that your people face great challenges. We are prepared to assist you, but first, we must ensure that our values and ways align." Turner nodded, grateful for the opportunity. "I appreciate your willingness to help. We are facing a formidable enemy, and every ally counts." Nari's expression grew serious. "Our council will need to deliberate on the matter. It is important that any alliance we form is built on mutual respect and understanding." The tour concluded at a beautiful overlook where the twin suns began to set, casting a warm, golden light over the village. Turner stood in awe of the view, feeling a sense of peace and hope amidst the turmoil. Nari turned to him with a thoughtful expression. "Before we part for the evening, is there anything else you wish to know or see?" Turner considered the question for a moment. "I'd like to understand more about your people's daily lives. What do you value most in your society?" Nari smiled. "Our greatest value is harmony. We strive to live in balance with each other and with our world. This is reflected in everything we do, from our rituals to our relationships." As the sun dipped below the horizon, Turner felt a renewed sense of optimism. The Velara were a unique and fascinating people, and their way of life offered a glimmer of hope in the midst of conflict. He hoped that this cultural exchange would lead to a strong and enduring alliance. With the evening approaching, Nari invited them to a celebratory feast, where they would have the opportunity to engage in further discussions and continue their cultural exchange. Turner accepted the invitation with a sense of anticipation, eager to learn more about the Velara and their potential role in the fight against the Thraxian Empire. The Feast of Unity. As twilight deepened into night, the Velara village came alive with the warm glow of lanterns and the inviting aroma of a feast being prepared. Captain Alex Turner and his crew followed Queen Nari to the central gathering area, a spacious open-air pavilion decorated with colorful banners and intricate patterns of bioluminescent plants. The pavilion was bustling with activity as Velara of all ages worked together to set up the feast. Tables were laden with an array of dishes, each more vibrant and exotic than the last. Turner and his crew were greeted with smiles and nods of welcome from the Velara, their faces lit with genuine curiosity and warmth. Nari led them to a prominent table at the center of the pavilion, where several high-ranking Velara were already seated. The table was adorned with a beautiful array of foods, including fruits that seemed to sparkle with their own light, and dishes that emitted tantalizing aromas. There was also a selection of beverages, each with a different hue and flavor. "Please make yourselves comfortable," Nari said, gesturing to the seats. "Tonight, we celebrate the beginning of our new alliance." Turner and his crew took their seats, their senses overwhelmed by the exotic sights and smells around them. As they began to sample the various dishes, they were struck by the unique flavors and textures. The Velara cuisine was unlike anything they had ever encountered, with a delicate balance of sweet, savory, and tangy notes that seemed to dance on their tongues. Throughout the meal, the Velara shared stories of their history and traditions, each tale more fascinating than the last. Turner was particularly intrigued by their oral storytelling tradition, which involved elaborate performances with music, dance, and visual effects created by bioluminescent plants. The Velaura's rich cultural heritage was evident in every aspect of their lives, from their art to their rituals. As the evening progressed, the conversation turned to the pressing matter of the Thraxian Empire. Turner explained the current situation in more detail, describing the Thraxians' aggressive expansion and their recent attacks on neighboring systems. The Velaura listened intently, their expressions thoughtful and concerned. Queen Nari's gaze was steady as she spoke. "We understand the gravity of your situation. The Thraxian Empire's actions threaten not only your people, but the stability of the entire galaxy. We are committed to finding a way to help." Turner was relieved to hear her commitment. "Your support would mean a great deal to us. We need allies who share our values and are willing to stand against tyranny." Nari nodded. "We will convene our council to discuss the specifics of our potential involvement. In the meantime, we want to ensure that you experience the full depth of our culture and traditions. We believe that understanding each other's way of life will strengthen our bond." As the feast continued, the Velaura performed traditional dances and music that captivated their audience. The dances were fluid and graceful, with movements that seemed to tell stories of their ancestors and the natural world. The music was a harmonious blend of melodic tones and rhythmic beats, creating an immersive and enchanting atmosphere. Turner and his crew were drawn into the festivities, their earlier reservations melting away as they immersed themselves in the Velaura's vibrant culture. The sense of camaraderie and unity was palpable, and Turner felt a growing sense of hope for the future of this alliance. The evening concluded with a ceremonial exchange of gifts. Each member of Turner's crew was presented with a handcrafted artifact, symbolizing the Velaura's appreciation and respect. In return, Turner and his team offered tokens of Earth's appreciation, including samples of human art and technology. As the night drew to a close, Turner found himself reflecting on the significance of the day's events. The Velaura were not only a fascinating and beautiful people, but also potential allies who could make a crucial difference in the fight against the Thraxian Empire. Nari approached Turner as the feast was winding down. "Captain, I sense that our partnership has great potential. We must continue to build on this foundation of mutual respect and understanding." Turner smiled, grateful for the opportunity. "I agree, Queen Nari. This has been an invaluable experience, and I look forward to the discussions with your council." With a final exchange of thanks and promises of continued cooperation, Turner and his crew prepared to depart for their quarters. The evening had been a success, and the foundation for a new alliance had been firmly established. As they walked away from the pavilion, Turner felt a renewed sense of optimism and determination. The path ahead was still fraught with challenges, but the Velaura's support offered a glimmer of hope in the ongoing struggle against the Thraxian Empire. The Council's decision. The following morning, Captain Alex Turner and his crew were greeted with the gentle hum of a Velaura sunrise. The air was crisp and filled with the scent of blooming flora. They had been invited to the central hall of the Velaura's main citadel, where the council was to convene and deliberate on their potential alliance. The citadel was a marvel of Velaura architecture, with towering spires made of iridescent material that seemed to change color with the light. Inside, the council chamber was a grand space with a domed ceiling that featured a mosaic of stars and galaxies. The room was circular, with a raised platform at the center where the council members would sit. Turner and his crew arrived at the citadel, where they were greeted by Nari and several other high-ranking Velaura officials. Each council member was adorned with intricate robes and ceremonial garb that reflected their rank and role within the society. Nari guided Turner and his team to a set of seats arranged around the perimeter of the chamber, ensuring they had a clear view of the proceedings. The atmosphere was one of solemnity and anticipation as the council members took their places on the platform. As the council meeting began, Nari addressed her fellow members. "Esteemed councillors, we have gathered today to discuss the matter of our potential alliance with Captain Alex Turner and his crew from Earth. They have come to us in their time of need, seeking our support against the Thraxian Empire." The councillors listened intently as Turner provided a detailed account of the situation. He described the Thraxian Empire's aggressive expansion, their tactics, and the impact their actions had on the galaxy's stability. Turner emphasized the urgency of forming an alliance and the strategic benefits it would offer both the Valara and the Earth. One of the counselors, a wise and elderly figure named Eldrin, spoke up. The Thraxian threat is indeed grave. However, we must consider the implications of entering into such a partnership. The Valara have always maintained a position of neutrality. How would this alliance affect our standing in the galaxy? Turner acknowledged the concern. Our goal is not to impose, but to collaborate in a way that respects your values and autonomy. We believe that a unified effort can help counter the Thraxian threat while allowing each party to retain their principles and objectives. Another counselor, Leora, a younger and more idealistic member, added, "The Valara are a people of peace and unity. If we can aid in the preservation of these values across the galaxy, it would be a significant step towards fulfilling our mission." Nari nodded in agreement. Leora raises a valid point. By joining forces, we can not only address the immediate threat, but also work towards a more stable and just future for all our peoples. The Council deliberated further, weighing the pros and cons of the alliance. They discussed potential terms of cooperation, including military support, resource sharing, and joint diplomatic efforts. The conversation was thorough and thoughtful, reflecting the Valara's commitment to making an informed decision. After several hours of debate, the Council reached a consensus. Nari addressed Turner and his crew with a solemn expression. "Captain Turner, we have carefully considered your proposal. The Council has decided to offer our support in the fight against the Thraxian Empire. We believe that our collaboration will be beneficial to both our peoples." Turner's face brightened with relief and gratitude. "Thank you, Queen Nari, esteemed councillors. Your support is invaluable, and we will work diligently to ensure that this alliance is both productive and respectful." The councillors offered their congratulations and expressed their hopes for a successful partnership. They then outlined the next steps, which included joint military training exercises, intelligence sharing, and diplomatic coordination. The Valara would also provide Earth with crucial resources and technology to aid in the fight against the Thraxian Empire. As the meeting concluded, Turner and his crew were invited to a celebratory gathering in their honor. The event was held in the Citadel's Grand Hall, which had been transformed into a vibrant celebration of their new alliance. The hall was decorated with banners and lights, and the Valara performed traditional songs and dances to mark the occasion. The Thraxian infiltration days turned into weeks as Captain Alex Turner and his crew settled into their new alliance with the Valara. The partnership was proving to be fruitful, with joint training exercises and strategic meetings deepening their cooperation. The Valara's advanced technology and insights into galactic politics were invaluable assets in their fight against the Thraxian Empire. However, as the alliance grew stronger, so did the Thraxian threat. The Empire, notorious for its cunning and ruthlessness, was not one to be easily deterred. Unbeknownst to Turner and his team, the Thraxians had begun to infiltrate the Valara's territory, aiming to undermine the newly formed alliance from within. It began with subtle disruptions, malfunctions in communication systems, unexplained power outages, and mysterious security breaches. The Valara were initially puzzled by these occurrences, attributing them to technical glitches or minor operational issues. But as the incidents continued and escalated, suspicion began to mount. Captain Turner and Nari, who had become close allies, were among the first to suspect that something more sinister was afoot. During a routine security briefing, Turner noticed that the anomaly seemed too coordinated and too precise to be random. "We've been experiencing too many unexplained issues," Turner said during a private meeting with Nari. "These aren't just technical problems. They're symptoms of a deliberate effort to destabilize our operations." During the celebration, Turner had the opportunity to interact with various Valara, including the council members and their families. The atmosphere was filled with joy and camaraderie as both Earth and Valara celebrated the beginning of their partnership. As the festivities continued, Turner reflected on the significance of the day's events. The alliance with the Velara represented a major milestone in their struggle against the Thraxian Empire. It was a testament to the power of cooperation and the strength that could be found in unity. The night drew to a close with a shared sense of optimism and purpose. Turner and his crew had forged a meaningful connection with the Velara, and they were eager to begin working together to achieve their common goals. The path ahead was still challenging, but with the support of their new allies, they were better equipped to face the trials that lay ahead. The Thraxian infiltration days turned into weeks as Captain Alex Turner and his crew settled into their new alliance with the Velara. The partnership was proving to be fruitful, with joint training exercises and strategic meetings deepening their cooperation. The Velara's advanced technology and insights into galactic politics were invaluable assets in their fight against the Thraxian Empire. However, as the alliance grew stronger, so did the Thraxian threat. The Empire, notorious for its cunning and ruthlessness, was not one to be easily deterred. Unbeknownst to Turner and his team, the Thraxians had begun to infiltrate the Velara's territory, aiming to undermine the newly formed alliance from within. It began with subtle disruptions, malfunctions in communication systems, unexplained power outages, and mysterious security breaches. The Velara were initially puzzled by these occurrences, attributing them to technical glitches or minor operational issues. But as the incidents continued and escalated, suspicion began to mount. Captain Turner and Nari, who had become close allies, were among the first to suspect that something more sinister was afoot. During a routine security briefing, Turner noticed that the anomaly seemed too coordinated and too precise to be random. "We've been experiencing too many unexplained issues," Turner said during a private meeting with Nari. "These aren't just technical problems. They're symptoms of a deliberate effort to destabilize our operations." Nari nodded, her expression serious. "We've suspected as much. We've been conducting our own investigations, but the Thraxians are skilled in covert operations. Their presence is elusive, making it difficult to pinpoint the source of the disturbances." To address the growing concern, Turner and Nari decided to launch a joint investigation to uncover any Thraxian operatives within the Velara's ranks. They assembled a special team composed of Velara security experts and Earth's best intelligence officers. The investigation began with a meticulous examination of the recent incidents. They reviewed surveillance footage, analyzed communication logs, and conducted interviews with personnel who had been in proximity to the disruptions. The team worked tirelessly, determined to uncover the source of the infiltration. Their efforts soon bore fruit when they discovered a hidden data transmission channel embedded within the Velara's communication network. The channel was transmitting encrypted data to an unknown location, suggesting that sensitive information was being leaked. Using advanced decryption tools, Turner and his team managed to break through the encryption and trace the transmission back to a remote outpost on the edge of Velara space. The outpost was a disguised facility operated by the Thraxian Empire, set up to monitor and sabotage their operations. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Turner and Nari devised a plan to neutralize the threat. They would need to launch a covert operation to infiltrate the outpost, gather intelligence on the Thraxians' activities, and shut down the operation before it could cause further damage. Turner selected a small team of highly trained personnel for the mission, including Velara operatives who were familiar with the outpost's layout. The team prepared for the operation, gathering equipment and planning their approach. Under the cover of darkness, the team set out for the Thraxian outpost. They traveled in a stealth ship designed to avoid detection and approached the facility with caution. The outpost was heavily fortified, with advanced security systems and patrols. The team used their expertise to bypass the security measures and gain entry into the facility. They moved stealthily through the corridors, avoiding detection and neutralizing any guards they encountered. Their goal was to reach the central control room, where they could gather critical intelligence and disable the Thraxian operations. As they approached the control room, they encountered a group of Thraxian operatives who were busy coordinating the sabotage efforts. A tense standoff ensued, with both sides prepared for combat. The Velara and Earth operatives fought with precision, using their combined skills to gain the upper hand. After a fierce battle, the team successfully subdued the Thraxian operatives and secured the control room. They accessed the facility's main computer systems and gathered valuable data on the Thraxians' plans. The information revealed the extent of the Thraxian infiltration and their efforts to destabilize the Alliance. With the intelligence in hand, the team set to work disabling the facility's operations. They planted charges to destroy critical equipment and erase all traces of their presence. As they made their way back to their stealth ship, they received confirmation that their mission was a success. The team returned to the Velara Citadel, where they debriefed Nari and Turner on their findings. The data they provided allowed the Velara to identify and root out additional Thraxian operatives within their ranks. The Alliance was now better equipped to defend against future attempts at sabotage. The successful operation reinforced the bond between Earth and the Velara. Turner and his crew had proven their commitment to the Alliance, and their collaboration with the Velara had strengthened their resolve to stand against the Thraxian Empire. As the threat of infiltration was neutralized, the focus shifted back to the broader conflict. The Alliance was now prepared to confront the Thraxian Empire with renewed determination, armed with valuable intelligence and a strengthened partnership. The battle against the Thraxian Empire was far from over, but with the support of their Velara allies, Turner and his crew were ready to face the challenges ahead. The journey had tested their resolve and forged deeper connections, setting the stage for the next phase of their struggle for peace and stability in the galaxy. The final assault. The galaxy was at a turning point. With the Thraxian Empire's infiltration efforts thwarted and valuable intelligence in hand, Captain Alex Turner and his crew prepared for the ultimate confrontation. The time had come to launch a decisive assault against the heart of the Thraxian Empire and bring an end to their reign of terror. The alliance between Earth and the Velara had never been stronger. The combined forces were mobilizing for what would be the largest military operation they had undertaken together. Turner, along with Velara Commander Nari and their top strategists, had devised a plan to strike at the core of Thraxian power, aiming to cripple their command structure and force a surrender. The final assault was meticulously planned. The operation involved a coordinated attack on multiple fronts, targeting key Thraxian strongholds and supply lines. The goal was to create chaos within the Thraxian ranks, making it impossible for them to mount an effective defense. As the countdown to the assault began, tension was high. The combined fleet, a formidable force of Velara warships and Earth's most advanced starships, assembled at the edge of Thraxian space. The fleet was a sight to behold, with its sleek ships and powerful weaponry, ready to unleash a torrent of firepower upon their enemies. Turner stood on the bridge of the ISS Odyssey, overlooking the bustling preparations. His mind was focused, his resolve unwavering. Nari joined him, her expression a mix of determination and anticipation. "We're ready," Nari said, her voice steady. "The fleet is in position, and our forces are prepared for the attack." Turner nodded, his eyes scanning the tactical displays. "It's time to end this. We've come too far to back down now." With a final check of the plan and a last round of encouragement to his crew, Turner gave the order to commence the assault. The fleet surged forward, crossing the threshold into Thraxian territory. The first phase of the operation began with a massive bombardment of Thraxian defenses. The Alliance's ships unleashed a barrage of energy beams and missiles, targeting enemy installations and fortifications. The Thraxians, caught off guard by the intensity of the assault, scrambled to mount a defense. Turner watched as the battle unfolded on the main display. The skies were lit up with explosions, and the space around them was filled with a chaotic dance of combat. The Thraxian forces, although formidable, were struggling to respond to the relentless onslaught. As the initial phase progressed, the second part of the plan came into play. Special operations teams, including elite Velara troops and Earth commandos, were deployed to conduct high-priority missions. Their objectives included infiltrating Thraxian command centers, sabotaging key infrastructure and capturing vital assets. Turner's team was tasked with a critical mission to locate and disable the Thraxians' central command hub. This hub was the linchpin of their operations, coordinating their military efforts and sustaining their war effort. Taking it down would significantly weaken their ability to resist. The team, equipped with stealth technology and advanced weaponry, made their way through the chaos of the battlefield. They approached the central command hub, a heavily fortified facility on a remote asteroid. The hub was protected by layers of defense systems and elite Thraxian guards. With precision and coordination, Turner's team breached the outer defenses and infiltrated the hub. They navigated through the labyrinthine corridors, overcoming security measures and neutralizing guards. Their goal was to reach the control room and disable the central command systems. Inside the control room, the team faced their final challenge. Thraxian commanders, realizing the severity of the threat, were desperately trying to regain control. The team engaged in a fierce battle with the Thraxian forces, fighting to secure the control room and execute their mission. Turner and Nari led the assault with determination. The fight was intense, but their combined skills and teamwork proved superior. The central command hub was soon in their hands, and Turner's team set to work dismantling the control systems. As the command hub's systems were deactivated, the Thraxian forces began to falter. The disruption in their command structure created confusion and disarray within their ranks. The Alliance fleet seized the opportunity, launching a final decisive push to overwhelm the remaining Thraxian defenses. With the central command hub inoperative, the Thraxians were unable to effectively coordinate their defenses. The Alliance fleet pressed their advantage, systematically dismantling the remaining Thraxian forces and capturing key strongholds. The tide of the battle was turning in their favor. As the final Thraxian strongholds were overrun, the Thraxian Empire's ability to resist collapsed. The remaining Thraxian commanders, realizing the futility of their situation, sought to negotiate a surrender. The Alliance, having achieved their objective, agreed to terms that would ensure peace and stability in the galaxy. In the aftermath of the battle, the galaxy was left in a state of cautious optimism. The Thraxian Empire's defeat marked a significant turning point, bringing an end to their oppressive rule. The alliance between Earth and the Valara was celebrated as a triumph of cooperation and unity. Captain Turner and Commander Nari stood together, overlooking the remnants of the battlefield. The struggle had been arduous, but their efforts had forged a lasting bond between their peoples. The victory was a testament to the strength of their alliance and the resilience of their combined forces. As the celebrations began and the galaxy began to rebuild, Turner and his crew prepared for the next chapter in their journey. The challenges they had faced had tested their resolve and solidified their commitment to protecting peace and justice. The galaxy, once again, stood at a crossroads, but with the strength of their alliance and the lessons learned from their struggles, Turner and Nari were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The future was uncertain, but their shared mission to ensure a better galaxy for all had never been clearer. And so, as the stars shone brightly in the vast expanse of space, Captain Alex Turner and his allies looked forward to the new adventures and opportunities that awaited them. The battle for peace was over, but their journey had just begun.